What's up YouTube? Cliff here from the Sunday Drive, and today we're going to be showing you how to install some new seat covers on my 2012 Camaro. So let's get these new seat covers opened up. And I've gotten a lot of Coverking seat covers. If you've watched my channel, you definitely have seen that. But this is my first time getting this little kind of care package from them. So let's see what we got in here. We have the normal push and pull and tuck tool for installing your seat covers to help you get it in between the cracks on your seat. But we actually got some cool branded safety glasses here from Coverking. I guess they don't want you to damage your eyes while you're installing your seat covers. So that's cool. And a single glove. One glove. Don't want to go too crazy and give you two, but we can pretend to be Chris Fix now and have some gloves in our video. And then, of course, just a little magazine from Coverking. So, and they say, how can we help? Go to coverking.com/help. But you guys got us, so you don't need to go there. We're going to show you how to install these. So, these are the Neoprene seat covers. That's the higher grade seat covers. If you watch our channel, I had NeoSupreme seat covers previously installed on my Camaro. However, they've been on there for about 6 years and they are definitely in need of replacement. I have a complete video review of those before I took them off, so check that out at the link above. But I have neoprene seat covers on my truck, and I've had them on there for 50,000 miles, and they have held up really well. They're a lot thicker and just much better quality than the NeoSupreme seat covers. So even though Supreme is in the name, that does not mean they're better. So these are the seat covers definitely to go for if you want the best protection for your car seats. They're much thicker, much better bolstering, and these are supposedly waterproof. So I did spill some stuff on my truck seat. It wasn't a lot, but it did not get through to the seat underneath of it. In that case, it seems to have worked. I've never tested it out with like a garden hose or something to be sure, but they have held up really well in my truck. So we're gonna put these on my Camaro, show you guys how, and let's get to it. Now, before installing these new seat covers, you definitely want to make sure your seats are clean as possible, especially if they're leather. You don't want to have any dirt or debris underneath that's going to be scratching or abrasing the leather surface underneath. So clean these as best as you can. Now, for interior detailing on my Camaro, I love to use Zano products. I've been using Zano since I got the car, or very soon after, and this car has never been garage kept, and you can see how well the dash has still hold up, and all of the interior in the car looks really well. It doesn't leave any greasy residue, and I really love the smell of their products. So to start off, I'm using their Z9 Leather Soft Spray Cleaner. Now, you don't need to use this every time. However, because these seat covers are going to be getting covered up for a while, I just want to make sure the surface underneath is as clean as possible. And then what I use on all of my interior surfaces, at least all the plastic and leather, is the Zano Z10 Leather in a Bottle. And the smell of this is really good. And it just has really protected the interior of my car really well, and I highly recommend both of these products. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is remove the headrest. Now, I have the headrest still on here for my old seat cover, and I'm probably going to keep using these because I actually got these embroidered last time, and this is something you can get from Coverking. At least this was available when I got these in my Camaro about 5 or 6 years ago. I will take this off though so we can show you how to install the new one. So we're starting from scratch for you guys. So set that off to the side. In order to remove the headrest, on the top of the seat are two push buttons, one right there. You can see it releases a little lever inside, and there's one on here. So you got to press both of those in, and you are going to need to rock the seat forward and make sure it's in the lowest position if you have the power seats, so that you can remove the headrest. So rock it forward and then slide your headrest out. Now, before getting started, I want to do a quick comparison, since we have these two sets side by side, between the Neoprene seat covers and the NeoSupreme seat covers that were previously installed on my car. Now, if you watched my review of these, which I linked earlier in the video, I noted that a lot of the bolstering on these old seat covers was not very strong. There was a lot of areas that I felt were kind of thin. So just going to do a quick contrast right here. So if you look at this area, this is the side seat area where you're sliding in and out of the car onto your seat. The padding on the NeoSupreme ones is really good actually in this area, and it's equally good on the neoprene seat covers. However, you can just feel that this material in general is much thicker and sturdier. So you can just feel the quality difference. Even you can kind of hear it. So you can hear what that sounds like. Then over here, it's muffled. Doesn't feel cheap. There's no cheap sounds to it. So definitely, as far as the thickness goes, this is thicker. It feels much better quality. However, the side bolstering on the NeoSupreme ones is sufficient. It did protect the bottom portions of my seat really well. So let's go ahead and compare the tops now. All right, so we have our two backs or tops side by side here. Here are my old ones. You can kind of see they're a little bit faded. Now my biggest complaint with these old ones was that the bolstering on the sides was not very good, and I felt like it did not protect the sides of my seat as I slid into the car. If you put your finger in here, this is just really thin. It's really just fabric connecting the back to the side of the rear seat cover. So it's just really thin fabric right there. However, with the new neoprene seat covers, that's not the case. There's nice thick padding all along the side, connecting the sides to the back. So that is going to do a much better job of protecting your seats as you slide in and out of the car. So you can kind of see it's a nice thick padding here. Don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera, but there is nice padding on the sides of these, and that's a huge improvement over the NeoSupreme seat covers. So installing the bottom section is very simple. You have a little bit of extra padding right here on the outside. That's going to install between the plastic edge of your seat and the seat itself, and it's going to keep it from coming out of this area. And then underneath the seat, you're going to have two straps that go from back to front underneath. And on the inside towards the center console, you're going to have this extra strap right here that you can feed underneath and help hold the edge of the seat cover down. So I'm just feeding these two straps underneath the back portion of the seat towards the rear. And then I'm pushing the back part of the seat cover through. Now, when you're installing the seat cover, if for some reason your seat is really tight to this trim, you could reverse this. These will go on either way. So you could have this extra thick padding right here that's supposed to hold it in here on the inside and use the strap to hold it down on the outside. However, there is enough room to sneak it through here, as you can see. Got that through there with no problem. Now this is where their trim tool will come in handy if you're trying to feed that through. But what I like to do is just kind of separate the front right here and pull that down. So just to show you guys again, pushing the seat back and then pulling that down right through. Now one thing I found is actually on the driver's side of my Camaro, this piece right here is actually a lot tighter than the passenger side. I need to go figure out why my passenger side piece is so loose, but I couldn't get this piece to slide down in between the seat and the edge trim here. So what you can actually do is take this piece and slide it from the front right through like that. So just want to make sure I showed you guys that little tip right there. And one of the things I really like about these seat covers are how thick they are. They really add a lot of padding to the seat. On my truck, I have the center bench seat, and that seat's really hard, but having these seat covers on there actually makes it somewhat bearable. So I don't even have this strap down yet, and you can already see that it's looking really good. Obviously, I've continued using their products, so I am definitely a fan. Now, none of my Coverking seat cover videos are sponsored. I just happen to really like their products. All right. Now, in the Camaro, there's not a lot of room to work under the seat, but I do have the powered seat. So we're just gonna lift this up. And it's a good idea to lift this up as high as it'll go while you don't have the headrest on top. That gives you more clearance to rock the seat forward. If you have the headrest up top, you will not be able to rock the back forward because it's actually going to hit the ceiling of your car. Now we're going to go ahead and feed those straps underneath and tighten down this top part right here. Now if for some reason you're having a hard time getting under your seat, there's just two Torx bolts at the back. If you remove those, you can lift your seats out really easily. and then you can obviously get underneath them much easier. However, when you raise the seat all the way up, if you have the powered seats, I'm not sure if the mechanical seats can raise up and down. I know they can go forward and backwards. You'll have a lot more room to work. So if you are struggling, you can remove these seats with just 2 bolts and they come right out. All right, so right here is the flap that we fed from the front through to the back, and here's the 2 straps. So we're gonna need to feed those underneath of the seat. Now the important thing is when you are fishing these straps through, you want to make sure that you're not interfering with any of the mechanical or electronic components underneath of your seat. Just be very careful where you route your straps, and once I have this underneath, we're going to do a shot, and Pete will show you where I routed them. Now the top seat covers are not reversible, and that is because they have this airbag flap right here. So for your vehicle, if you have a side impact airbag on your seat, as you can see mine is labeled right here, airbag, on the seat itself, you don't want to install a seat cover over top of that that does not have an opening like this, because that is going to prevent the airbag from possibly deploying. So the nice thing about the Coverking seat covers is they do have this flap here. It doesn't look the prettiest, but safety is somewhat important. So that's a good feature to have. So obviously this flap lines up with the outside airbag. So this is our passenger side seat cover. So to secure the seat cover in place, there are 2 straps at the back. These will go underneath the seat and pull this and just clip underneath to some of the metal under there. And when you are strapping these in place, make sure you're not strapping them to wires. Make sure you're actually getting the metal frame that's underneath of your seat. There is a strip of Velcro right here. It has a cover on it. So this part right here is going to feed through from the front to the back and then Velcro to this strip. And that'll hold that in place. So just going to leave that on until we're ready for it. So we're going to rock the seat forward. And now that we have the bottom installed, I can go ahead and lower this down. Flip this over top. Now one thing I forgot to mention, so let me pull this back off for a second. The Camaro has this strap right here for the seat belt to loop through, and it's magnetic and supposed to hold it in place. However, the one problem I do have with these seat covers, and it's really inherent to all seat covers, is that because the seat cover is so thick, it really prevents this strap from clipping in place. So I'll show you guys how to install it. What you would do is just, you would slide it through this gap right here, and then there's a hole for the magnetic part. However, I have found that this really will not stay clipped on with the seat cover on, so I just leave it underneath of the seat cover. Now one disadvantage of that is you can see that this strap kind of got crinkled. It has a crink in it right there. It's supposed to be more uniform. Now this didn't happen to my driver's side, so I'm not sure why it happened to the passenger side, but you can just see it kind of got messed up there. So I'm not sure if that was from me trying to pull it out from under the seat cover, or if that's just what happened to it while it was in there. So either way, you have a decision to make. If you leave it underneath, it is going to protect it from the elements, especially if you drive with your windows down, but it isn't really going to work very well if you have it on top. So obviously, completely up to you. I've opted to leave them underneath on my car, just to really protect it more too. So we're just going to slide this on top. All right. Now we're going to take this flap here that's at the front and push that through the back, and then finish pulling this down all the way. And on the top, you want to make sure that these holes right here line up with the holes for your headrest. So that'll give you a good indication if your seat cover is on all the way. All right. Now, as I mentioned, because this is a thicker seat cover, you are going to have an air pocket right here. So if you do, you can kind of pull the seat cover towards the middle a little bit, and that'll help reduce it some. However, the best way to get rid of this is just really using your seats. As you use them, the seat covers stretch out a little bit, and it reduces that kind of pocket at the back of the seat. All right. So now I've rocked the seat forward. I'm going to pull this flap through as far as I can. I'm going to go ahead and remove this cover on the Velcro, and I'm going to pull this flap up and hold it as straight as I can. You want it to be spread out all the way across the back. You don't want it to bunch all towards the center because that's going to kind of pull the seat cover towards the middle. You want it spread out evenly across the back of your seat. And then pull the back of the seat cover down. Now we have these two straps right here. We're just going to go underneath. I'm going to raise the seat back up and strap those to some of the metal subframe underneath of the seat. If you look after pulling that through, you can see that this went down a lot. It's sitting in here much better than it was a second ago. So that will help reduce that bubble in the center. Now, as I mentioned, these headrest covers actually are from my old seat covers, but because I do have them embroidered, I'm going to reuse those. The installation process is the same. Just slip it on over. And then there is Velcro straps that go around the two posts that come from the top. Just going to pull that together as tightly as you can. Now there's a hole at the back of the seat cover for you to access the lever to be able to still rock your seat covers, your seats forward. Now the one thing I am noticing about this is that it does seem to get caught on the edge right here, so you may just have to pull it back and let it slip under. However, it is embroidered around the edge, so you shouldn't have to worry about any fraying or anything like that. Just a little bit more of a nuisance, but you still can access that really easily. So with this rock forward, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall my headrest. So you just gotta find the holes. All right, now the only thing that is a little bit more of a pain is you do have to kind of fish to find that lever under there. But if you push that down nice and neat, the headrest will sit nicely on the back side right there. So do some final tweaking and adjustment. Let's see if I can push that to the side a little bit better to kind of maybe fix that. So I've just inside of here pushed that strap over this way, so hopefully that'll fix the kind of bend I had in it. So hopefully that'll take care of that. Just gonna straighten things out a little bit here, and then I will let Pete get some shots of this. That I'm liking about these seat covers right off the bat is that this really fills in this area right in here where my old one had a gap. This one really has a nice tight fit around the edge trim right here and the seat. So I'm not as worried about dirt getting down in here as it did on my old seat cover. There was always kind of a gap here. Also, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a lot more bolstering right here where passengers are getting in, and because of the shape of these seats are sliding in, as well as me on the driver's side. So that should do a much better job of protecting this area of my bolstering, because this part and right here are where your seats are going to take the most abuse. So I'm glad that those are reinforced on these new seat covers. Now, as I mentioned, there is a little bit of a bubble right here in the seat cover. However, if you've watched my Silverado installation and my brother's WRX installation with these same seat covers, this does go down over time. I've been riding with this in my truck for 2 years. It's went down significantly. It still does bubble out a little bit. However, it's gotten a bit stretched out, so when I sit in it, it immediately goes back. It doesn't push against me, offer any resistance, and I know my brother's WRX has a lot more side bolstering than even my Camaro, and that bubble has also went down significantly, and he doesn't have any problems in using it. As I mentioned earlier in the video, these are a lot thicker, so when you sit in your seats, they're gonna be a lot plushier, a lot more comfortable to sit in if you do like a softer seat. If you like a hard seat, these are not the seat covers for you. They do add a little bit more cushion to your seat, so I personally like it. It makes the seats really comfortable in my truck, and I curious to see how nice these feel in my Camaro, because this will be my first time using the neoprene seat covers in here. But I really like it in my truck and my brother's WRX. So if you want a little bit more comfort, these are a nice option for you. That's it, guys. That's how you install seat covers in your 5th gen Camaro. And as you guys can imagine, this process is the same for most vehicles. Also, as I mentioned earlier in the video, if you guys want to see the reviews on the NeoSupreme seat covers and neoprene seat covers, I have both of those up on the channel, and I've been using both for quite a while, so you can see how they have held up for me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If it was your first time tuning in, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. Hit that thumbs up if the video was helpful, and make sure to hit the bell notification to stay notified of our latest videos. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys back here next time.